A few weeks ago, Celsius disabled withdrawals and trapped people's money. And last week, Voyager did the exact same thing. And then today, actually, Voyager filed for bankruptcy.
I declare bankruptcy!
And then again, in the past couple days, Vauld, I don't know how you pronounce that. Vauld followed suit. So is this money gone forever? What should you do now? Well, it seems the crypto market wants to just kick us while we're all down. But that's okay. We can take it.
I could do this all day.
Company after company are dropping like flies and the market is still in the dumps. In my last video about Voyager, I said that I was pulling my money from the platform and every other platform like it. The reason I did that is because I had seen the warning signs ahead of time with Celsius and I pulled my money from Celsius before they locked withdrawals. Well, history repeats itself and apparently pulling my money from Voyager was a great decision because Voyager just went bankrupt. Does that mean I'm a prophet? Well, no, this market is just unpredictable. And I am glad I made that video, even though in the comments I did have lots of people saying it was just FUD. Fear, uncertainty, and doubt. And if you watched that video, I hope many of you did the same and removed your money too. I think this goes to show it's important that you don't get so tied to a project or company that anything negative you hear, you just dismiss immediately with FUD. And instead, you take all the information in, assess it, and then decide whether it's reasonable for you to act on or not. Follow logic, not emotions. And especially in these tough times. And speaking of tough times, let's talk about a quick update on all this stuff that's going on. First off, Celsius has still not enabled withdrawals, but there is a bit of movement happening there, but more on that in just a bit. Next, after assuring everyone that they were different, Voyager shared exactly how bad their financial situation is and then froze withdrawals themselves. Though, unlike Celsius, a week after they froze withdrawals, Voyager has now, of course, filed for bankruptcy. Now, the main problem with both of them, Voyager and Celsius, they had huge, absolutely massive amounts of money with 3AC. Three Arrows Capital, to the tune of hundreds of millions of dollars. They loaned this money to 3AC so that 3AC could go work their magic, make that money into more money, and then give Voyager and Celsius money back to then pay all of their customers all these rewards that they've been promising them. However, unfortunately, 3AC has basically been obliterated because they've exposed themselves to far, far too much crazy high risk stuff. And therefore, they've been unable to pay back the loans to places like Celsius and Voyager. And to make matters worse, 3AC is actually now filed for bankruptcy, which means there's little to no hope that that money with 3AC that Voyager and Celsius were hoping to get back will be able to be returned at this point. And on top of that, another platform called Vauld has also done the same thing as Voyager and Celsius, and they've just now frozen withdrawals. And the reason they've frozen their withdrawals is they said they've had nearly $200 million worth of withdrawals in the past weeks after Celsius initially locked up their withdrawals. And since that's a lot of money, they don't actually have all the liquidity or capital to fulfill all those withdrawal requests. So just like Celsius, this is effectively a bank run on multiple of these companies, and they are having trouble having the liquidity to meet the demand. Or worse yet, the money isn't even there to try to meet the demand.
Give us some money!
So it seems that it's all just a real storm right now.
Watch your profanity.
So does that mean if you had money on these platforms, you're never going to get it back? Is there no hope of restitution? Well, not quite yet. We're not quite to the hopeless, dark pit of despair just yet. There are a few things happening that I want to fill you in on. Now, while Celsius has not yet enabled withdrawals, they have been aggressively paying down one of their main loans that is outstanding at the moment. And in doing so, they've been dropping their liquidation price for that loan down dramatically. In fact, just today, as I record this, Celsius paid another $120 million down on that loan that they owed, which basically means they're getting closer and closer to possibly saving their sinking ship. It's going to be very interesting to follow what they do in the coming weeks or months. Also in the news, and if you watched my last video about Voyager, you'll know that they have received a large loan from FTX to kind of bail them out. Though clearly that wasn't enough to keep them from filing for bankruptcy, nothing is guaranteed in the wild west of crypto. However, Voyager has released statements about their filing. As I personally understand it, they are just using Chapter 11 filing filing to restructure or reorganize, and they are adamant that they're not actually going out of business. They expect this restructuring to last at least a few months or several months as they reorganize and restructure and try to get capital so they can pay people back. So you could see some or all of your money back, or potentially just see a percentage of your money back based on whatever values they can acquire. And in some good news, they actually have been processing withdrawals for people who attempted to withdraw just before they announced their freeze. But unfortunately, if you attempted to withdraw after they placed that freeze on withdrawals, well then at this moment, you are out of luck. I'm sorry. Now what's interesting here is BlockFi. Now they also took a loan from FTX, but instead of all this happening, BlockFi is actually being acquired by FTX. So, hey FTX, want to give me some money too? Give me a call.
Money, please.
And today, Nexo, another one of these platforms that maybe is in a lot better shape than these apparently, actually is in talks with Vauld to acquire the company. So right now, everything is simultaneously collapsing, but also there's all these lifelines being thrown out. The next few weeks or the next few months is really truly going to determine whether you have a chance to see any of your money returned or not. So what should you do right now at this very moment? Well, what you should do is you should click that like button. If you appreciate me putting together all this information, all the breaking news with all these things and keeping you updated, then hit that like button. It helps me out a ton, and consider subscribing if you haven't done that already. What do you think about Voyager going bankrupt? All right, what should you do about all this stuff, all these platforms, if you have money out there in the internet abyss? Well, I can't tell you what to do. I can just tell you what I'm doing personally. And if you watch my Voyager video, you know that I've already pulled my money from Voyager, and I've also pulled my money from all the other interest-bearing account platforms out there. But not only that, I've actually taken it a step further, and I've pulled all my larger amounts of money from not just these platforms and companies, but also from any crypto exchanges. So maybe you should consider doing the same, or do whatever you want. You are your own person. The main reason I'm doing this is because this is very uncertain times.
During this time of great uncertainty.
During these uncertain times.
All this craziness is happening, so I want to be on the sidelines with my money safe under my own control while I wait to see what happens next before I decide to put my money back online or something. So that would be a big reason why you might consider doing the same. The little amounts I'd be earning in yield are not worth the overall risk of having all of that money online where it could be locked up, maybe even permanently. In fact, I've always been a big proponent of keeping the biggest percentage of your crypto holdings in wallets that you actually control. Not your keys, not your coins, so the saying goes. And even before all of this happened, I've only ever had smaller percentages of my overall holdings online on these types of platforms. Now though, like I said, I have virtually none online as I wait to see how all this plays out. So what exactly do I mean by keeping your crypto in wallets that you control? After all, don't you control your Binance wallet? Don't you control your Coinbase or your KuCoin wallets? Well, the super short answer is no, obviously not. If you can control your Celsius account, but you can't actually withdraw your money, well, that means you don't actually control your coins. You need a wallet that only you can decide when or when not you're going to take money in or out. So what I'm talking about here is either hardware or software wallets where you control the keys. For a hardware wallet, my main wallet I use is the Ledger Nano S Plus. It's very easy to set up. It's easy to use. It supports a bunch of coins. And for software wallets, I use mainly Zelcore or I use MetaMask. Now, whenever you do use your own wallets, this next part I'm going to say is absolutely critical. You cannot skip this step. Do not share your seed phrase or your private keys with anyone. When you set up a hardware wallet or when you set up a software wallet, it's going to spit out a seed phrase or give you some private keys. These are literally the keys to your wallet. Anyone who has these keys can control, take, spend, transfer your money out of your wallet without your permission. There's no online support person who needs your private keys or your seed phrase, no friend who should need them, no person you met online who needs them to help you out with a problem you're having. There's nobody who needs the keys to your wallet except for you. If you're on a website or online and the website's asking you to put in your seed phrase or someone's DMing you asking you for it to help you out with something, run far, far away.
Run, Forrest, run!
If anyone is asking you for these things, they are trying to rob you. In fact, I take this a step further and I say you shouldn't store these keys online, anywhere. Write them down on a piece of paper and put them in your safe in your house. If you don't have a safe, buy a safe. Again, these are literally the keys to your money. Anyone who has these keys has your money. And it's a really crazy market out there, so you need to keep your eyes peeled and you need to stay safe. And you need to watch this video here to get even more crypto safety and security tips. Otherwise, that's it for this video. I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.